Ben Haas, informational speech. Imagine if you could think of something in your mind and then create it right in front of you. How many of you would want that power? Yeah? That's something that I always thought was so cool when I was growing up. And when I bought my first 3D printer, that dream became a reality. I could come up with a concept in my mind, go online, design it, and within a couple of hours, have it printed out as a physical object in my hands. 3D printing is an amazing new technology, and many people don't know very much about it. From business to NASA to hobbyists, 3D printing opens many new doors and possibilities. So what even is 3D printing? Many people have heard of 3D printing or additive manufacturing, but don't know exactly how it works. Andrew Walker, in an article called How Do 3D Printers Work from The Independent, published in March 2021, says that 3D printing is the process that turns a whole object into thousands of tiny little slices and then makes it from the bottom up, slice by slice. Those tiny layers stick together and make a solid object. Each layer can be very complex, meaning 3D printers can create moving parts like hinges and wheels as part of the same object. Think of building a layer cake, but with thousands of tiny cakes layered on top of each other. It's perfect for creating small toys, gadgets, and models. I brought in a few 3D printed objects to show off of things that I've made. So you can kind of see the versatility of how it works. So I'm just going to hand out a few of these and kind of show to the people around you. So this one has some moving parts and things like that. Here's a little model that shows some of the detail that you can get with 3D printing. Here is another one. So that was printed as a single print with moving parts in it. You can take a look at this and spin the wheel. It's a little like optical illusion. This is a bearing that they 3D printed. And then this here is a piece of chainmail that was 3D printed. So all of these are 3D printed plastic materials. It's a polymer called PLA. And the 3D printers that I have are obviously cheaper 3D printers. You can get up into the hundreds of thousands of dollars for more complex metal 3D printers and other types of material. But this is like the cheapest. This is what people use for making small hobbyist type designs and things like that. And something that I've kind of fallen in love with as I've learned how to 3D print and gotten into that community. So 3D printing is pretty cool. I like it a lot, and you can make a lot of things with it, but does it have any practical uses? And as I began researching this, I've seen how much 3D printing has been used in the medical field. Dr. Liz Kuo in Moby Health News, in an article called Top 8 Healthcare Uses for 3D Printing from October 2021, talks about some of the new ways that 3D printing is being used in medicine, such as creating reference model, customized surgery, designing medical devices, creating prosthesis, 3D printed implants, 3D digital dentistry, and streamlining drug administration. She states, as the price of high-performance 3D printers decreases, more medical professionals use 3D printing to produce cost-efficient, customized devices in short periods of time, to design patient-tailored anatomical models to identify revolutionizing clinical solutions to create new treatments adapted to patients' needs. So you can have a patient come in, scan a body part of theirs, and create like a prosthetic for it, custom made specifically for them in just a few hours. This is a technology that would have taken months to years to develop with previous methods. 3D printed body parts, by using 3D printed structures, allows for stem cell growth on it. So what they could do is they could take a model of, let's say a human ear is something that they've done, and they create it in a 3D printed plastic that allows for stem cells to actually grow in it and on it, and then use that to create a functioning human ear that can be transplanted onto somebody's body. John Murphy on MD links in an article called 7 Amazing Body Parts That Can Now Be 3D Printed from March of 2020 talks about some brand new 3D printing projects, such as a bionic eye, an eye replacement that can replace an entire human eye, a heart that can pump like an actual human heart, a bionic ear that can hear even more than a current human ear, and elastic bones that mimic the strength and agility of our current bones. These uses in the medical field allow 3D printing to be more than just a fun hobby, but also a professional tool for science. So what else can 3D printing be used for? One thing that I find super cool is 3D printing in space. Michael Johnson on NASA's website in an article called Solving the Challenges of Long Duration Spaceflight with 3D Printing from December of 2019 says that 3D printing allows for quickly creating tools on the International Space Station and lets astronauts make quick repairs without having to send a whole new mission to the ISS. Famously, this was used to create a fully working wrench, which would have been an expensive and heavy part to ship to the International Space Station. According to Sarah Kramer, in a Business Insider article titled Here's How Much It Costs to Actually Launch Stuff into Space from July of 2016, it cost about $45,000 to launch 1 pound of cargo to the International Space Station. So you can see how important it would be to have something like a 3D printer to create many different tools without having to send up missions to the International Space Station each time they need something new. Another super cool product 3D printing is being used for is homes. They have massive 3D printing arms that can 3D print in concrete. In the same way that I made things like this, a massive 3D printed arm could make layers of a house that build up and create an entire home. Megan Mikulski, in a Time article called 3D Printing Homes Could Help Solve Affordable Housing Crisis, published last April, talks about 3D printed homes and some of the new projects. It can create an entire home in just 22 hours. And this isn't just a small home. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home. And it takes far fewer workers as well. Within 3 weeks, the entire home was furnished and ready to live in. Not only is this fast, but it's also extremely affordable. If anyone has ever been involved in building a home, you know that 3 weeks is a crazy short amount of time for a home to be not there at all, to be ready to be lived in. 3D printing has many utilities and many things I didn't even touch on here. It has a huge range of applications, from making minifigures to fixing the International Space Station and making a working heart, or creating something straight from your imagination. Although these technologies are still in the early stages, it's progressing rapidly, and your next home may be a 3D printed one.